Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Ben Taylor Podcast, the home of marine industry insights. This podcast is brought to you by Superyacht Services Guide, a worldwide trusted directory of yachting services, one of which is Teakdecking systems, which we're going to hear from today. So I'm with John. Nice to see you, John. Good morning.
Good to see you, man.
So let's have some context first. You've been on the podcast before. Hopefully a few people saw that. That was actually last year.
It was.
That's exactly a year ago. Yeah.
Different booth.
Let's have some context first. So what are Teakdecking systems all about? What do you guys do?
So Teakdecking systems been around for 40 years now. We've in 2020 expanded into Europe. We're basically a teak decking company. We make decks from a variety of materials. And as we were years ago, we couldn't find the materials that we wanted. We started to make our own. So we've come up with a whole line of deck products, and that's from epoxies to the caulkings to the cleaning, and trying to cover the whole gamut of the deck on a yacht and looking after it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I know you called teak decking systems. It goes well beyond teak.
It does.
There's various different trends around eco materials and things like that.
Yeah.
We will go into that in a little bit of detail, but one of the major developments is essentially how you're structured logistically for the distribution and to speak and supply the market. Yeah. So what changes have happened there? How does that work?
So, you know, as when we came into Europe in 2020, we then had a big footprint in Europe. Previously to that, we had our products being distributed by another company who did a good job over the years.
Yeah.
But we just knew that we could do it better because that's all that we were looking at was our distribution of products, of TDS products. We weren't worried about anybody else, anyone else's products, and then we're the experts on our product. We make them, we know how they work.
About being direct, right?
Yeah. So now TDS, we call it TDS Europe, but it's Teakdecking Systems. It's owned by the company in the United States, and so we import the products and out of our Valencia factory and warehouse now. We distribute our products throughout Europe to a distribution network, which is ever expanding. I mean, and through our contacts, our technical knowledge, we're able to back up our distributors, the shipyards, the yachts, much better than, or we feel better than it was being done before.
Okay, and logistically, where do you have to supply it to? So can it only go to shipyards, refit yards, that kind of facility, or can it be on the dock side? Where can you get it to? Yeah,
so it's throughout Europe, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Holland. You know, we have our distributors there who we sell to the distributors, and then they sell to the shipyards, to chandleries. Our French distributor, DirectTech, sells to Freedom Maritime, sells to the other chandleries around the region, and then the yachts can buy directly from that chandlery.
Right, okay.
Or then, you know, you have a lot of the super yacht supply companies like Global, National, all these guys, and they're buying from other distributors as well. Some of them buy from our Americans and then supply directly to the boats.
Okay.
But we don't supply directly to many clients. We use our distribution network to do that.
Right, okay. And the step after that, so once all the materials have arrived, whatever the order is, how is it actually installed? Are there specialist installers? Can crew and captains do it, or how does it work?
It sort of depends. If you're talking about our epoxy and our caulking, you know, I mean, that's normally done by an application company. There's teak deckers all over the world.
Yeah.
There's thousands of decks are put in, and there's thousands of companies. You know, we do, working out of a Valencia factory, we do 1 or 2 new builds on the go every year, plus we do 15 or 20 refits and small repairs throughout Europe. In Spain, we've got a facility in Valencia in Villanova with Pendennis. We've got on-site people there. In Valencia, we have our guys, 49 employees down there.
Yeah.
But then if we ship it out, there's certain rules, regular protocols that you have to follow, instructions for putting in our epoxy and our caulking. And those are a bit more technical. But then when you start to talk about our cleaning materials, those are just fairly...
it's for maintenance. So
for maintenance.
So crew could do it on board. They're not having to have a specialist come on board and sort it all out wherever they might be. Yeah.
But with our cleaning materials, you know, they don't have any caustic materials in it, like a lot of the two-part cleaners and that. So we've tried to become very environmentally conscious of what's going into our materials. And we've taken products off the market because we put them out there. They were good, but they were just too toxic. And we said, listen, that's not us.
Yeah.
We want to try to protect the environment as much as we can. And we see people using things that are not good, and we don't want to be that company.
Yeah, try and avoid it. Yeah. I think that's a really important point around trust. Because I mean, a lot goes into a yacht build, a refit, all that kind of thing. If you use the wrong material, it's not very responsible. It could be a media nightmare. It's quite an issue.
Yeah.
And then backtracking on that is, I mean, it's happened, and it's something that all yachts need to be aware of, and make sure they're not, whether on purpose and knowingly or accidentally and unknowingly, using irresponsible products.
It's irresponsible products, and one of our problems that we have is that our caulking, in our opinion, is so good that it lasts longer than the deck. There's other products, especially like the caulking that goes in. A lot of the caulkings, you have to do a reseam every 10 or 12 years. And we just did a deck that the caulking's been in the boat for 25 years, and we haven't had to do a reseam.
Oh, nice.
We put our decks down with epoxy and vacuum using our own caulking, and our decks don't come up.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of repairs on other decks that aren't put down with epoxy and vacuum, and they just don't get pressed down right, and it's just human error.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get pushed down right, you get water under the decks, and with our decks that doesn't happen. So what we've had to do is go into the maintenance material, the products like the Eco 100 and the Eco 300 for deck maintenance, and I don't know if I should go into this now or...
I mean, go for it. I mean, in terms of the research and development side,
Yeah.
what do you do before you bring a product to market? I think that's the place to start.
So all of the products that we have in our portfolio of products now, they've been tested for years. We don't have any new products. The last one that came out was actually the composite sealer, but we've been testing that with some of the European polyurethane providers for years before it came out. So we have a testing facility in Sarasota at our factory there, and it'll be there for a year, 2 years, 3 years before we bring it onto the market.
And how's it tested? Is there some kind of chamber putting it through all the different environments?
We don't have a massive chemistry lab, but we do have a small lab. We have a UV machine. We have little machines that we can speed up the process.
Right.
But you know what? The best testing facility is our backyard in Sarasota. We've got a big factory there with a big backyard, and in Sarasota, you'll have 40 degrees, then you have rain. It'll cool down to 25 degrees. And then it'll heat up again, and that's what we need. We need that changes in temperatures to see what's going to happen.
Contraction, right?
Yeah, because we've tested. But the products are usually okay. It's like when we're testing new woods, like if you're trying to come up with thermally modified woods or something that's injected with something, we'll see very quickly in Sarasota if it's cracking, and that's usually what happens. That's why teak, it's the king of woods because of its oil content, because of this, and it doesn't crack. Where some of the new ones that have come out are not testing so well.
Okay, and you've done quite a lot of development in the R&D process to come to market with some eco materials. Can you tell me a little bit more about them? There's some behind us. What goes into these? Why have you brought them to market?
Yeah, so all of our products like the Eco 100, Eco 300, which are the cleaning products that we've come forward with. What we saw was in the past that the boats were using two-part cleaners, like the alkaline cleaner and the acid brightener.
Yeah.
And that wasn't good for anything. It's not good for the water, when the environment, when it goes in for there. It wasn't good for the deck. It wasn't good for the caulking. Yeah. And luckily our caulking actually resists very well those two-part cleaners. So
the caulking is really good, but then if it's not treated right, does the wood actually degrade faster? The color goes off and it starts.
It's just as the softwood. There's there's hardwood and softwood in the teak, and as they're scrubbing, the alkaline cleaner will take out the softwood a little bit quicker when you're scrubbing, especially if you're not scrubbing against the grain. You always want to go against the grain. Yeah. But the big one was actually on the caulking, that the acid would attack the caulking. Not ours so much, funny enough, but some of the other companies it would attack it. It would make it soft for a while, and so you get those
because the deck could be from anywhere. Yeah. And if they're using other cleaning materials to actually treat it over time, you've then got different chemicals interacting with different products, and
we're seeing in the whole market that the yacht crew don't want to use these caustic chemicals. They want to be environmentally friendly. So that's why we came out with these, and they were tested they've been out for 10 years now, and they were tested in the States to be compliant with Clean Marina and with so those are the systems that we looked for.
Yeah, so they're nice and compliant, they're nice and friendly, and then affordable, available.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what the truth, you talked about this before, our supply chain and logistics. One of the things we're trying to do as well is that trying to make our products more affordable by coming directly from TDS.
Yeah.
going straight and
yeah, there's less margin stuck in there.
Yeah,
You've
there's
not
less
got another
margin.
player
We don't
that
have,
needs serving,
you know,
and
we all have to make money, but we understand that everybody's looking at the bottom line, and everyone has their budget.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons as well.
And where's a lot of the demand coming from at the minute? Is it quite a lot of new build, refit, kind of repair work? Where's a lot of business?
In I can speak for Europe specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
Over here, we've got a bit of a mixture actually, because we have our limits like everyone does with the staff that we have, and we're always trying to have 1 or 2 new builds. And luckily, we've been pushing hard since we've been here. You know, we've got into a couple Dutch yards now where we're going on new builds. We're in Italy as well, working with some there, but that's with the owner's request to work down there. Most of the new builds and that is coming from Northern Europe, Holland, Germany.
Yeah.
Refits, we're all over the place. We're in Spain, Italy, France. You know, we fly to Singapore if we have to. Well, we have teams that can fly all over the world and do the refits.
Yeah. Okay. And so if you're a yard, does it look more like a partnership? Is it quite involved in things like the design process before, you know, oh, we need a deck, let's get TDS on the phone? Does it start way before that?
It starts way before that. It starts even now, since the embargo on teak from Burma, where you're not allowed to import teak, the availability of teak is not so easy to get.
Yeah.
So of course now we're trying to talk with the owners, teams, with the management companies, with the yards, and say, listen, if you got a 100-meter boat that you're building, you know, it's like a two-year process before we can get some of that teak, especially if it's
just to source it, like going through anybody.
Yeah, we have some. We have teak,
some stock.
But we don't always have enough, you know. And then before the yachts would come in and go, hey, we want to replace our deck.
Yeah, so it's worth planning.
Yeah, and so now we're like, hey guys, we need 6 months, a year. If you're talking about a new build, and usually with a new build we have enough time, because we'll be involved right from the request for quote will come in. There'll be a package, and more or less they'll have the design.
Yeah,
we'll look at it.
This is architectural drawing stage.
And this is what they'll look at, and then we'll come in and say, hey, listen, this isn't going to work because this doesn't work. After 40 years of experience, this is going to work better.
Consultative, bit of advice. Look, we suggest this. This will look nice. This is easy to fit, more cost efficient, things like that.
And what's happened as well is that more and more people are starting to follow our process of building panels, because we build in panels. We don't put down a batten at a time. And this, especially with using epoxy and vacuum, when you get on the boat, we can do 150 square meters in a week, get it down on the boat, and then we're gone. Right. Whereas you're going batten by batten, it takes more time. So so there's a few things that were advantageous for the yards to work with us. So
Okay. What's up next? What are you kind of working on now? What can we expect over the next few years? Growth plans, material plans. What's been worked on?
Yeah, so in Europe, again, I'm sort of based more in Europe than in the States. So over here in Europe, and we've looked at our capacity on what we can do for building decks, how many people we want to have employed, and you know, our growth that we see is in products. We're going to continue to grow in decks. We want to have, like I said, 1, 2 new builds every year, 15 refits, 1 big, 1 small, you know, means to keep our guys going.
Yeah.
And then, but the massive growth that we see is in our products. So what we've done, as I sort of started saying before, you know, if once our caulking goes in, it doesn't come out really. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do now, we have a 1-year limited warranty on product to anyone. It's not just when we put it in. When anyone uses our caulking, puts it in a deck, they get a 1-year limited warranty on the product.
Okay.
What we're going to do now is that if you use our product and you contact us, and the applicator, be it a company in France, Italy, Germany, wherever, they want to use our caulking, if they put it in and they communicate with us, they show us that they're doing it right, and that they're cleaning it and letting the curing times go or be fulfilled, then we'll extend it to a 5-year warranty. But this means that the yacht has to use our cleaning materials. Because we know that our cleaning materials aren't caustic, they're not bad for the boat, they're not bad for the environment, they're not bad for the deck. And as well, it's a way to increase our growth in the product sales.
Warranty is so interesting because on one hand, it's confidence in the product. It's going to last. Great. On the other hand, as in the commercial side for the business, it's, well, there's one sale there, and then we promise, look, it's going to last longer than most. And we're confident in it, and we'll kind of back it. But I suppose it takes the wider product range and a couple other revenue streams to make sure that works for the customer, works for the company, and everybody's happy.
You know, I've not talked to any deck crew that's ever used Eco 100, Eco 300, and said it doesn't. They're not happy with it. there's other products that work like our product as well, but I don't think there's another decking company actually in the world who can do what we do, because there's not another decking company that has their own products. And I think that the other part with this, we've started a few pilot projects with a couple boats to go, hey, we want you to use our product, and if you use our cleaning product, we'll extend it to 5 years, but we want to follow the installation. And we're not there every day looking at it. Yeah. But what this has done with the captain and the owner's team, is giving them the confidence that the product's going in right.
Yeah, and it's true.
I mean, it is, and because it's unfortunately our product doesn't fail. The caulking, it's usually the applicator's error, beat ours. You don't clean it quite enough, and you get a bit of delamination, but you can always see that. Our product doesn't fail. So what we're trying to do is give the management team, the yard, a bit more confidence that TDS is following the application of our material, and that we're seeing that it's done the right temperatures, it's being cleaned right, the curing times are adhered to. Because with gray caulking, the curing times are longer than with black caulking, and it's not just ours. It's the gray caulking is difficult, so it's one of those ones that we want to follow, and it will take away some of the problems that the yachts and the yards and the carpentry companies are experiencing.
Okay, super. Thank you very much, Sean.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on the podcast.
Cheers, man. Thanks very much. Good to see you.
Everybody, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. All being well, we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.